You are now listening to the Jay Porks Experience. Listen free on iTunes or at theandydareshow.com. Now, here's Jay.
Yo, what is the word, people? Welcome to another edition of the Jay Porks Experience. I'm Jay Porks. With me, as always, on the other side of the glass every week, making sure this is a well-oiled podcast machine, is nobody. I've got a lot of things to talk to you about today. First of all, it's my birthday. Duh. So the party has already started. The party has already started here. And it's also the last episode of 2013. That's right, folks. After this, I get not 1, but 2 weeks off. So imagine how long the complaining is gonna last in the first episode of 2014. I didn't know I get a vacation. That's awesome. So it's my birthday. It's the last podcast of the year. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over the year, the entire year, the whole year in live concerts for Jay Porks. It's been a scarce year. We'll get to all that in a little while. But happy birthday to me. I'll allow you to tweet at me now and go to my Facebook wall and post happy birthday on my wall so I know it's real. But first, let me give you the list of websites I need you to go to help keep me in business. The list of websites that have been keeping me in business forever. First, concertconfessions.com. That's live music, news, and reviews for fans, by fans. I encourage you to join our family. Actually, every show I talk about today, you can read about it and check out the pictures that I'll be referencing over at concertconfessions.com. You can check out tons of content from tons of fans. Tons of folks like us, not chumps like them. Excuse me. Also, you can go to anniequiet.com. That's your source for quality. That's music news around the globe. You know, no bullshit. Just giving you the realness. Not posting articles just to get people to click on the site, but posting articles that mean something. So I'm told. You go to them, anniequiet.com, follow them at anniequiet. And you do that because they're run by some cool folks, and I'm sure they're gonna have a staff picks year-end list going up. Year-end top albums by the writers there. I'm not sure if I'm in on that, but it doesn't matter. Not like any albums I have they're gonna put on their list anyway. But go to anniequiet.com, keep up with that, and do all that. Also go to ChristinaRocks.com. She hosts the Time Warp on Sunday mornings, 89X. And if you go to Hang the DJ, ChristinaRocks.com, you can find the playlist. You can find a link to stream it live when it's on. That's what you can do. Christina's a great girl, and you check her out. She's from the lovely town of Detroit. Also, if you're listening to this at theandydeershow.com, if you're not, then you need to go there. And if you're there, don't just listen to my podcast. I don't want you to come to this website just for the Jay Porks Experience. I need you to come here for the Tyler Kale Show. I need you to come here for the flagship show, the Andy Deer Show. And I also need you to come here for the occasional smooth operators with Tyler and Andy. They rock it. They rock the mic right all the time. So you check out all the podcasts that are on the Deer Network right now. Because for the last 3 months, they've made me believe that I can podcast for the rest of my life. And if I could podcast for the rest of my life, I will be a happy camper. And when you're at theandydeershow.com, I need you to click the Amazon ads. I need you to buy stuff. And also, when you're at concertconfessions.com, for your live music, news, and reviews for fans, by fans, I need you to click that Amazon ad. Hey, listen, it's my birthday. Say you forgot to get me a gift. It's cool. Because all you need to do is click one of these Amazon ads and buy something. Now, you could buy something for me, which would be great. Or you can buy something for yourself and still I get credit for directing you to that way. That that's how internet ads work. There are no ads on these on the websites I write for free cam sex or anything like that. There's nothing. It's all legit. So just don't worry. You're not supposed to ignore all ads, just pop-ups and porn. Is that the list? Yeah, that's the list. Huh? Happy birthday to me. I'm freaking pumped. I love it. How old am I? Old enough. However old you need me to be. That's how old I am. But besides that, usually it's a better year for shows for me. Usually I've seen 20 shows in a year. I saw 20 one time, and I saw 23 another time. I saw 17. This year I didn't break 10. And life happens. When life happens, you can't really you can't prepare for it. That's why stuff happens. Why won't this thing load? Anyway, you can't prepare for it. So I mean, whatever the case may be, I couldn't go to as many shows as I wanted to, but it's okay. It's okay. So what I'm gonna do here, I was thinking about going over the shows I went to, but you know what? Since not enough people answer the question yes when I say, have you read my review? I'm gonna read my fucking reviews. I'm gonna read all of them to you right now. So if you had any plans, cancel them. Because I'm about to take up the next hour or so of your time. So let's go to Soundgarden. January 28th, January 23rd, excuse me. January 23rd, 2013. At Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City. The 82nd edition. The 82nd J-Porks experience. J-Porks concert experience. With words, photos, and videos by me. Go to concertconfessions.com and look for that. I'll read it right now. If this was my start to 2013, then boy, is there going to be tons of musical fun. What goes on, people? Welcome yourselves yet to another J-Porks experience. Tonight at Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City to see Soundgarden, who are on the second night of a back-to-back here in this dreadful venue located at 34th and 8th. It's 15 degrees outside, and I don't have any money. No money means no cabs. No cabs means spending 2 hours traveling and being frozen by the time I got to the venue. Luckily tonight, Cornell and company were here to help thaw out roughly 4,000 icy New Yorkers. See what I did there? I'm going to pause for a second. You see the wordplay? Cornell and Co. were here to help thaw out 4,000 icy New Yorkers. That's journalism right there. Let's talk about the security outside of Hammerstein Ballroom for a second. At about 7:30, I was able to make my way inside without much of a line. The doors are at 7, and the show is at 8. The search at the door was insane. They're making people take off their ski hats and everything. Searching every single person. My friend Pam is en route. They let me wait for her in the lobby, so I'm watching all this go down, all the searches. I get a call at 8:15 from Pam asking if the line I got on was around the block because she is like 3 blocks away. Head outside and find that the line is indeed. So I had been in. I got in easy, and then at 7:30 I came out, and the line was down the street. This place holds close to 4,000 people, and you guys can't get a few more event staffers out here to get us in quicker? It's a true story. They were doing extensive searches, and they had one person, 1 or 2 people. You need get 6 people. Do extensive. If you want to do the extensive search, that's fine, but you need more people because it's not like it's one door. There's 8 doors. There's a bunch of doors you can walk into. Like it's not like a crowd of people is gonna harm things. It's not a fire hazard. Can we do it like the TSA at the airport? I want to tell people that I'm only gonna be here for 2 hours or so. There's no reason to bring every single illegal thing I own into this building. Not worth the struggle. This is one of many reasons I choose not to visit this venue, if I don't have to. What a scum shell this place is. This is not an issue I have at any other venue when they do searches. They all do searches. So remember that show is at 8 part? Well, we didn't get to our seats till after 8:30. Another travesty. The seating in the mezzanine. The seats are quote unquote first come first serve order. So no matter what number it says on your ticket, no matter if you got tickets 5 weeks ago or 5 minutes ago, you have your pick of the litter from what seats to choose from. So my question is, why did I pay $65, 65 plus dollars for fees if my seat isn't reserved? That's my only question. And if you cause fans to get into the building a half hour late or so because of your rigorous search outside, then why do I smell weed everywhere? Not that I'm opposed, but come on. We seated ourselves in the last two seats on the right side in the last row. We were in the last possible, the furthest from the stage you can be, literally. But remember, folks, last time I saw Soundgarden, I was about a football field away from them at the Gorge in 2010. So being able to actually see them in action on stage was a treat. Somewhere between 8:30 and 9, the lights dimmed. The band was set to hit the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Soundgarden. I like how I write like that. In between all these paragraphs are cool pictures, and you should check them out at contactconfessions.com. When Soundgarden hit the stage, kicked off things with Searching with My Good Eye Closed, and they began a career spanning, I hate the term career spanning, set of old hits, old obscure tracks, and of course, a nice dose of King Animal spun in there. We didn't get into King Animal though until Non-State Actor checked in as the 10th song of the evening. Spoon Man was awesome. In the 2 slot, the band ripped through Gun, Rhinosaur, and Flower before I had to turn to Pam between songs and say, "We're seeing fucking Soundgarden." Safe to say I was excited. I'm happy Twitter exists because I'm terrible at song names. Speaking of Twitter, last night I read tweets about an oversold Hammerstein Ballroom. I read that it was crowded on the floor. Tonight the floor looked packed out. And even though I was in the last row of the building, I did notice people were standing behind me by the time we were into Loud Love and Drawing Flies. It was during Drawing Flies I decided to grab some quick drinks. And I stood up and got on a line that had 4 people in front of me during the duration of during Drawing Flies, and Hunted Down was next, and I was still online getting my beer or my Jack. I ordered a Coors Light and a Captain and Diet, and received a Budweiser and some fruity-looking beverage that was clearly not Captain, and got charged $17. Pam got charged $17. I didn't pay. I swear, the only people who should be paid for working here tonight are the 4 on stage, because everything else is going on inside this venue is a train wreck. Everything. I didn't even need to hear the lyrics as soon as I saw that backwards American flag on the video screen. I knew we were into Non-State Actor. And then we went with Been Away for Too Long, the first single. But not so fast. They slipped My Wave in between them. Oh, I see what I did there. All right, so they had the Non-State Actor was 10th, and Been Away Too Long. I thought they'd go back to back with new songs, but they didn't. They slipped My Wave in between them. They went Dreams into Blow Up the Outside World. Now we're in a new one. Now we're in a new one, old one portion of the set. It's only the halfway point. And Kim Thale is adding a little extra funk in his riffs for this one. I hear his guitar trailing off in another direction from time to time, and I like it. Zero Chance and Eyelids Mouth preceded by Crooked Steps. One of my new favorites off the record. Speaking of the record, Chris Cornell said at one point, and in parentheses I wrote, and I have this on video if it ever uploads, the new record is called King Animal. If you haven't bought it by now, well, I don't care if you steal it or whatever, before jokingly retracting the statement when he said, I think the president of our record company is here tonight. Outshined was a little extra special tonight. Heard everyone in my section screaming along to that one. This place was rocking all night. Such an amazing live band these guys are. I've seen them do it outdoors, now I've seen them do it indoors. The guy walking around my section who looked like Scott Ian from Anthrax was really getting into it with his girl during that one. I was waiting to have a good laugh when Blood on the Valley Floor came on. The reason for that is because the other day, while moving quickly to post a video of Soundgarden performing a new song I never heard before, I mistakenly said that Blood on the Valley Floor was unreleased from the record, and wasn't on King Animal. So here I am taping it, and I can't help but laugh at myself. See, I had written an article for Concert Confessions, and I said Soundgarden debuts new unreleased song, Blood on the Valley Floor, and that wasn't it. It was a long video, and Blood on the Valley Floor was first, and that second unreleased song was the song after that. But when you're posting news, you try to get it up quick. So I did that. So I wrote it too fast, and that's what happened. So when that came on, hence it was funny. This King Animal record isn't an album people should brush aside while only being grateful that Soundgarden is playing together again. This album is awesome, and I really thought I appreciated it when it came out. But seeing these songs brought to life live, Cornell's howling, the backdrop of a powerful Matt Cameron on drums, just because he's currently 1/4 of the band I hate the most in my life, he is also 1/4 of Soundgarden. He's tearing shit up back there. One song, another dude was drumming with him on the same kit. I also have video of that again, barring the videos upload anytime this month. This was at a time where I had Time Warner cable, and my videos would not upload at all. It took so long, the internet was so slow. Now I have Verizon Fios, and my internet is fast, even though none of my devices can get on it. Anyway. Moment of truth time. Yes, they did indeed play Black Hole Sun. It was a sweeter version of the song, the ever so slightly more mellow chorus, much like I witnessed 2 years ago across the country. I hate when bands don't play their biggest hit, so I'm happy that they played it. Although, had I known what would come or not come later, I would have traded it for Jesus Christ Pros and Pretty Noose, both of which were absent tonight. But like I always say, when you've got a bitchin' camera doubling his binoculars, sitting in a seat rocking out to Soundgarden next to a cool chick who loves Seinfeld as much as you, it's funny that I wrote that. There's really no way you can turn this into a losing situation. Rowing was next before they ducked off for the encore. People were exiting since people have been exiting since Outshined. I guess a lot of people were on the second night of a back-to-back. So I had tons of people walking in front of my camera. I have no desire to go back out into the cold, so I'm sitting right here till they make me leave. Came out to do a 4-song encore. Head Down, Rusty Cage, The Day I Tried to Live, and 4th of July. The middle of the 2 4 songs being one of my highlights of that section. I was so into that show, I wasn't even keeping notes besides songs. I wasn't writing down exact times and stuff. After 4th of July, Chris left his guitar on the floor of the stage face down, feedback fed through the PA until it faded into house music. Somewhere around 11:30 they were done, and we were on our way out. You know you've taken in something of epic proportions when there's a handful of songs you wanted to hear that didn't get played, and you're still walking out down the block chatting it up how it was one of the most amazing shows you've ever been to. And that's what Soundgarden brought to the table here tonight. 28 songs. Count it. 28. That's like a Bruce Springsteen type number. And someone tell Billy Corgan that if what I just witnessed was nothing but a quote-unquote cash grab, then Cornell and Company can snatch my wallet any time they please. That was off the Billy Corgan said that Soundgarden was getting together as a cash grab along with Pavement. I may have mixed up a few songs in the set list, but here they go. Spoonman, Gun, Rhinosaur, Flower, Loud Love, Drawing Flies, Hunted Down, Live to Rise, Non-State Actor, My Wave, Been Away Too Long, Worst Dreams, Blow Up the Outside World, Zero Chance, Eyelids Mouth, Like Suicide, Outshined, Blood on the Valley Floor, Fresh Tendrils, Mailman, Black Hole Sun, Rowing. Then they come back for the encore with Head Down, Rusty Cage, The Day I Tried to Live, 4th of July. Now that's how you start the year, folks. Soundgarden. Now after that, I'm like, yeah, all right, good times, good times. I'm glad I got the year off to an epic start, and I'm glad that it's gonna continue. But it didn't continue until April Fool's Day, and that was April 1st at the Chameleon Club in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And this is when I get to go on tour with the Meat Puppets. So April 1st, April 2nd, and April 4th, I saw the Meat Puppets. Now, I was in Lancaster. Now, you may ask how I got to Lancaster. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This place called the Chameleon Club. Through working with the band and you know, Facebook and stuff like that, I met a friend, Linda Kite. Great person. She just so happens she was D Boone's fiance, the lead singer of the Minutemen, before he tragically got into that car accident that killed him. But I mean, she jams Econo, punk rock to the core. I mean, so I'm sitting in a car with a person. She picked me up. She lives in L.A., but she was coming along for the East Coast leg of the tour to, you know, help out with merch and stuff, and you know, she's, you know, friends with the Meat Puppets. Known the Meat Puppets since, you know, their inception or whatever. So she said, "Listen, I'll pick you up. I mean, I have a friend in New York, so I'm going to the PA shows. So I'll hang out with my friend, then I'll come meet you. I'll give you my address. I'll give you a ride." So I said, "Cool, awesome, road trip. Who doesn't want a road trip?" So she came and picked me up, and she drove me to Pennsylvania. So that's how I got there. And if you go to concertconfessions.com, all these reviews are up. So here's what I wrote on this night. Opening day, fresh cut grass, blue skies, and baseball. It is indeed the foundation of America. Today is a different kind of opening day for this guy. And this is the first of 4 consecutive nights. It actually turned out to be 3. 4 consecutive nights to be spent with my desert punk legend buddies, the Meat Puppets. They've got a new record coming out, Rat Farm, this month, and all reports are that the first few shows of this Rat Farm tour have been kicking ass. Tonight we're in Lancaster. Somehow stars aligned and my good friend Linda was able to pick me up for a little road trip to Pennsylvania to catch the band twice before they head back to the Mercury Lounge in New York City on the 3rd and 4th. So with a... That's funny. So with, this is funny. With a bag packed and a pocket full of dreams and not a dollar to my name, we got in that rental car and hit the road. The Chameleon Club sneaks up on you in Lancaster, as it appears to be your regular run-of-the-mill street, and then suddenly appears a club across the street from the parking lot. Really old school feel. I'm from the city where everything is extravagant. It's cool to settle into a grassroots-looking kind of joint in the middle of somewhat nowhere and take in some awesome music. The World Takes hit the stage at 8:15. I could hear them all the way from the back of the room. The guitars got really funky at times, and their second or third song had a pretty awesome solo going on. And the next song sounded like some early Meat Puppets on speed. Twangy at times, straightforward at other points, The World Takes far from sucked. Their drummer, DJ Bonebreak, is from the band X. How cool is that? How cool is that? Well, as I look for the page. Throughout their set, the song sounded more and more like a mixture of Pups and like a mixture of Pavement with more added twang. At one point, scouting spots, I ended up downstairs, some dude doing stand-up comedy in this dark sidebar of the club. Lots of stuff happening in Lancaster. If I wasn't here on business, I'd go tell a few jokes. The World Takes played till a few minutes before 9. They'll be on the next 4 dates, and I'll be sure to check them out. At 9:17, with the whistling of Monkey and the Snake, we were off and running with this evening's proceedings. During Touchdown King, I headed my way downstairs, trying to explore every corner of this place. I got in there and I was taking video and stuff, and I had a big camera. Linda had this huge camera for me to borrow. This is like, I think she got it for work or something. I got it from work. I hope she didn't pay for it. It's like $1 million camera. It is some serious shit. So I took some crazy photos. And the Chameleon Club they have a third floor. They have a first floor, a second floor, and a third floor. It's like a poor man's Terminal 5. And they have that. And I was able to. There's a spot on the second floor where if you keep walking, you're kind of behind the stage, and I got this really cool shot of Chris and Kurt, you know, from behind them, and you could see the crowd, and it was a wicked shot. And I put it up on the scroll up at Concert Confessions when I posted it. After the gig, we headed to a Best Western, and this was the most awesome hotel in the world. This hotel was better than most rooms I've stayed in Atlantic City. And me and Linda stayed there. It felt like we had three fucking rooms. There was a room with two beds in the front of the room. Then you got a hallway to bathrooms, and then you have another room in the back. We could have brought like 12 people here. I'm surprised the pups didn't want to crash. So, and they had awesome Wi-Fi. So I wrote my review. I got it done. I slept for 3 hours, and then we woke up, and we were on our way to New Hope, Pennsylvania, which isn't. I'm not sure how far it is from Lancaster, but since we're here on business, we had to make a trip to the airport in Philadelphia. We had to do that during the day because we ran out of T-shirts and stuff. There was some and vinyl. There's some stuff we ran out of. So me and Linda had to check it down there. And the funniest part of this trip was we have to go get a luggage. We have to go to baggage claim. We sent management sent a bag full of stuff. So we had to go to baggage claim, and she says, "All right, so move the car if anyone asks you to." And I'm like, "I don't drive." She's like, "I know you don't have a license, but you don't know how to drive." I said, "Nope." I mean, I can't. I guess I do. I've seen it a lot, but no. And it was a rental car. I don't trust it. So no, I can't drive. So it was funny sitting in the car pretending that if someone needs me to move the car, I'm gonna be able to, because there's no chance that's happening. As she went in and got the bag, I should have got it. Now that I think about it, oh well, what ifs. I think it was in her name or something. So anyway, so from Philly, we went to New Hope. Now New Hope is the most bitchin' town in the world, man. It's the New Hope, Pennsylvania. It's like a little street. They've got these little businesses. They got like little funky shops. They got a nice little coffee shop, and they got John and Peters. And I'm gonna say this about John and Peters: that is the best venue to see a rock and roll concert ever in the world, hands down. I don't know if John and Peters is bigger than my bedroom, but it's freaking awesome. You walk into John and Peters, and it's a bar. It's a bar with about 10 stools and 2 booths. They got food too. They have a full kitchen. Okay. And there's this wooden door that slides open, and it slides open to a basement. And you go down these 3 steps, and you're in a basement where there's more tables. There's tables like booths for people to eat, and there's a stage, which I mean, it's about 2 inches. If the step up to the stage is 2 inches, that's saying way too much. It's barely a stage. This is the show where Kurt Kirkwood, before the show started, a pitcher of beer was spilled on his pedal board, and it was bad. I mean, he was very. He was, everyone was. It was such a great show, but afterwards, he was very upset that he was scared. He was worried that he ruined his thing. Once we fixed it, it was all good and everything was fine. The guy from Steve from the World Takes, the lead singer of the World Takes, he had this stuff to fix it at his house. But we'll get to his house later, literally. So man, John and Peter. So we're down there, and Chris and Kurt are there. Chris and Kurt are there. Shannon's there. Elmo's there. They're sound checking. I think Elmo might have been drumming, and Chris was playing guitar, and they were talking that this is going to be the side project, like goofingly saying that. So then I go out, because they're trying to force me to eat. Back in April, I'm really on a no. I wasn't eating anything. I was dieting to the hardest core you can possibly do. So I said I'm gonna go get some coffee. So I went and got some coffee. I was smoking a cigarette outside, and the funniest thing was it was like 50 degrees, and Linda was like, "Oh man, and wintertime is tough." I'm like, "Wintertime? It's April. This is summertime." To give you an example, right now it's 20 degrees outside here in New York City. So all my friends in California, even though you don't have any weather, feel lucky that you're not cold. So I go out to smoke a cigarette. I go get a coffee. I'm talking with the townsfolk because I got the place I got the coffee is this little pizzeria place, and I'm talking to the two servers, this guy and this chick. They're both like, it's a summer job, not a summer job, but like after a non-school, not during school type job. Because this is like a spring break town. This is not a spring break town. This is like it has the feel of a college town. That's what I want to say. Because New Hope is basically the halfway point between New York City and Philly. So you got two pretty much major cities there. So people can live in New York, and work in not. You work in New York, and if you can live in New Hope, and the traveling's not so bad. I mean, you could do it. The jobs, I travel 2 hours to work, and I don't even. It's on Staten Island. It takes me 2 hours to get there. So the things people do for work, and I made a Sunday brunch new record, $5. $5 I made in tips. I swear to God, 9 to 1, $5. But I digress. So New Hope. So I get back in, and and I go downstairs because I'm with the band. I'm allowed to be. Here's what's great about being at these shows in April. I'm with the band, and I can do whatever I want. Free booze, house tab, all that. And Linda driving me around, chauffeuring me around, really making this such an easy experience for me. So we're in John and Peters. I get back there, and I notice Dean Ween is here. The Diener. He's in the same room as me. I texted Reverend Justino immediately. I said, "Oh my God, Dean Ween is here." So I was over there trying to listen to their conversation. I swear to God I was doing that because I didn't want to go all fanboy in front of the band I work for the guy from Ween. Like, I wish I would have got his autograph, but yeah. I didn't want to look all fanboy again. But it was funny. They were talking about Trout, and I did hear one thing. Diener said something. I don't even know what he said. Something about it's weird, not being in Ween. But Moist Boys, he's doing the Moist Boys thing now, and they play John and Peters because he's from New Hope. They live in New Hope. So they were having dinner. I was sitting at the merch table with which is like 5 feet away, with Linda, and I was just like in awe. And then me and Elmo. This is funny. Elmo, we were doing what is it? California Love. We were I don't know, topic of I said California, we were doing the lyrics to California Love. Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California street. It was so it was like, they didn't know, nobody else knew what me and Elmo, because that's a me and Elmo thing, because we're like around the same age group. Spitting Tupac, right in front of Dean Ween and Kirkwood's. Danny Moped, roadie, awesome tour manager. Dan White. He's an awesome guy, man. He is great. He sets up all the shit, and he's just a really really cool guy. He does some cool work on classic cars too in his spare time. So it was cool to get to everybody's so. It's not. I mean, road trips would be a lot harder if I was surrounded by people that annoyed me. So I was with a bunch of people who made the experience so easy for me. And it didn't hurt that this band ripped through Chameleon Club. They destroyed John and Peters. Destroyed. It was absolute destruction. We had Kathy's Clown. We had a little Hey Baby Que Paso. And here's the thing. While I'm taping, people are passing me by. Waitresses are passing me by because they're serving food. Not because it's not busy. We are packed. And they are still serving food. And I'm taking video. I don't need to zoom. I don't need to do anything. I'm too close. I'm right by the bathroom. Dean Ween passed me by. I got to touch Dean Ween, which was great. And, in the back of my mind, because Danny Moped told me, he said, I don't know what's going on tonight, but I know that there's an extra guitar. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, wow, maybe they'll jam. And it was cool to see Diener watching along with it, just as spaced out as all of us puppet heads watching them tear this place down. I mean, it was just something else. And here's the other thing about John and Peters: it is the only place, probably in America, that you're allowed to smoke cigarettes. I swear to God, smoking inside. And on this tour, they were busting out. Time and Money. We heard the first 2 nights. We heard Time and Money. We heard Waiting, and we heard Sometimes Blue. And those songs are off the new record, Rat Farm. And then after New Hope, after John and Peters, after that complete destruction, there was like a 20-minute Seal Whale's Backwater. Go check it out on archive.org. I'll put it up in the notes if I ever get my new computer working. Oh man, it was just epicness. The things this band does is just insane. And we're in New Hope, Pennsylvania. This little town, this little place, this little street, these little town blues. It was freaking amazing, and it was awesome. I mean, just being in an environment that's not yours and being comfortable. I'm a very nervous guy, so I'm very high strung. As you know, if you follow me on Twitter, if you follow me on Facebook or wherever you want to do, if you know me at all, you know I am a very tightly strung individual. And if things don't go exactly right, shit pisses me off easily, and shit goes haywire. But everything worked out. Everything worked out as planned on this trip. So after the show in New Hope, we exit John and Peters, and we're figuring out where we're gonna go tonight, where we're gonna stay. Now, I was like, hey, why don't we drive back to New York? Because by now I'm like, okay, I'm far from my house. I need to get back to my house. I need to reset a little bit. I don't know what we're doing. So that we have two options. There's DJ Bonebreak from X, and there's from X, who's the drummer in The World Takes, and there's Steve, lead singer, guitar player in The World Takes. They both have one bed for us each, so I chose to go with Steve because he looks like Kirk Kirkwood, and it's cool. And he's cool. So I went to his house, and I feel so bad. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but they have a 14-year-old daughter. I don't know if she's 14 or 16 or whatever she is. She's in that range of years. And they gave me her bed. Like, I thought she was, sleeping at her friend's house or something. No, she slept in the mom's room. You know what? I didn't want to, I'll sleep on the floor. It's cool. So I can't believe the opening band, the Meat Puppets, the opening band for the Meat Puppets housed me. I'm not in the band. I'm just surrounded by awesome people. So there's this little bridge that you go 15 miles an hour over, and you take. We stayed. I think his house is in New Jersey, or DJ Bonebreak was staying in New Jersey. I'm really not sure what the deal is. That's where the studio was. But Linda called me early, and we got out of there. But I mean, it was awesome. It was tough trying to have coffee with Truvium and almond milk. That was tough for me. That was tough. I mean, I want to eat healthy, but we got to take baby steps on that. And that's when Linda told me about hot yoga. I need to start doing that. That would be awesome. I need to start doing that so I can get girls and so I can get flexible. It's called. There's a fancier name for it, but I can't think of it now. So I was like the night when I was going to sleep at this person's house, and there was Steve from The World Takes, and there was no Wi-Fi because his house is in the woods. It was tough for me to get to sleep. I was thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be tough for me to get to sleep. I was getting nervous, and Linda's like, don't worry about it, we'll be good. And she kind of calmed my panic attack really fast. So I chilled out. I'm sleeping in this girl's room, and it's just so I see the makeup over there. And like she said, they told me Steve goes, if you need to like smoke weed, he's like I don't encourage you, but if you need to, he's like go outside. You have to go outside because she's getting to the age where she's gonna know what that is, and this isn't a drug den. And obviously, I knew that already. I knew that I was gonna take all my drugs outside regardless, but that's what I did. So I went outside, looked at the woods. I went outside, with no shoes on the porch, in a cold, in a cold, not a cold, a breezy, very spring-like April in the woods. You could feel the dew in the air. And I just smoked a cigarette and smoked a bowl, and it was awesome. It just calmed me down. And next thing I knew, I woke up to a phone call from Linda that said, "Hey, you ready to bounce?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll wake up Steve." And I went and I woke up Steve, and we went back to. Did we grab something to eat? I think we might have grabbed something to eat. Then we went back to New York. And then she drove me to my house, and I was completely shot. So I told her, I said, "Listen, I might not make it out to tonight's Mercury Lounge show. I might need to wait till the 4th." I didn't actually go to the 4 in a row, so I went to 3 out of 4. Because I was, as Danny Moped told me, I was tuckered out. I was very tuckered out. So I went home, I wrote up my New Hope John and Peter's review of the Meat Puppets and the World Takes. I still can't believe I stayed at this guy Steve's house. Shout out to them. Shout out to Holly. Shout out to everybody who was involved in that. So then we drove. I got dropped off back home. I hugged Linda. She told me I better show up if I don't show up tonight, I better show up on Thursday because she doesn't want to not see me. She was good. And another reason why I chose the 3rd as the one not to go to is because the 4th was the last one in New York, so that was the last one in the city that I could have attended to. It was like the send off. And number 2, Greg Prado, who wrote the book Too High to Die, Meet the Meat Puppets and All History. He was gonna be at the Mercury Lounge on the 3rd signing books. So I figured, I'd just be in the way. I figured that's one more person with the band who they didn't need. Mercury Lounge is a small place. So I totally just conked out, went to sleep, and then I woke up on the 4th, and I headed to the Mercury Lounge. Now the 4th is an interesting day because Spin Magazine had just released Original One. They were streaming it before the album was released. They debuted it and were streaming it. So it's funny. I'm outside Mercury Lounge. I show up and I see Shannon, and I'm talking to him, and I'm talking to Chris, and I said, "Spin's got a song up. Spin's debuted a song." He said, "Which one?" And I said, "Original." And he said, "Oh, that's the one they chose." And like it was just funny to see how it goes from band to music magazine. Like I'm sure it sounded like they wanted Original. Original One's a good song. I love Original One, and they actually debuted it that night live for the first time ever. Also that night they debuted the title track Rat Farm live, and they played Waiting and sometimes Blue, and they played Kathy's Clown, and there was a part where Kurt couldn't find his slide during I think it was like Fire or Omeo. So one of these 10-minute jams up on the sun, and he needs Moped to come up and get his slide. He says, "Moped, where's my slide? Hey Moped, you pothead, come up and bring me my slide." Like everything is fun with this band. Everything is funny. And right before they played Rat Farm, Chris says something like, "Thanks for coming out. Some of our good friends are from New York, but I know a lot of good people here, but a lot of them don't like me." And then Kurt goes, "That's an awful thing to say. What a suck ass." He says people like him. He's like, us up here on stage might not like him too much, but he's got friends. He does. He does. We all love every part of the Meatballs. Every member. So after they after they burned down the fucking Mercury Lounge, man. After they burned down John and Peter's, after they burned down the Chameleon Club, I said goodbye to the Meat Puppets. When there was a merch frenzy. I told Linda I have a boat to catch. She gave me this look like, dude, you need to borrow cash? And it was loud. I said, no, I have a boat to catch. I said, see, like, even after picking me up from New York, driving me through Pennsylvania, letting me stay in her hotel room for free, buying me coffee or whatever I need. I didn't have any money. She bought me whatever I needed. Not asking me for gas money. After all that, she thought I said I need to borrow cash, and she reached for the purse, even though she looked upset about it. She reached for the purse. No way. I can't. You've already given me way too much. You've given me way too much stuff to go on, and it was so good. So then I saw the pups, said my goodbyes. I told them I hope to see them on the West Coast later this year because I was really hoping there had been no other dates announced, but the West Coast was a California leg was being discussed. So what I did was I left and I went home, and then I thought there was gonna be more shows coming up. I thought there was gonna be like more shows coming up faster at a faster pace. I thought I'd be able to, but so, not to dwell on it, but something happens, and I had to spend some time at the hospital visiting somebody, and and I had to reevaluate a lot of things in my life, a lot of things with my financial situation, a lot of things with what I'm doing just overall. So shows were not priority for a good 3 months there. After I finished up the Meat Puppets leg of my tour, so I did see the Meat Puppets 3 times in 4 nights, and then I took a break for a while. And there was a couple of more. There was more shows coming up in August. We had Uproar Festival. We had Violent Femmes. We had Fountain. We had more, and we're gonna get into it. Back after this. J Porks here, recording my own commercials. I just want to thank you all for sticking with the J Porks experience for the last 3 months, and I hope you continue to stick with the J Porks experience for the foreseeable future. Coming to you live in 2014 every Monday. Every Monday, new topics, new complaints, new everything, and I do it all for you. And it's all here on the Deer Network, at theandydeershow.com.
Hey everybody, Andy here from the Andy Dare Show. Just want to congratulate Jay on 15 awesome episodes and a happy birthday as well. In the new year, we're going to be working on sound quality. We're going to be working on doing some video pieces and booking some new guests. I want to thank Jay for keeping up the awesome content, and I want to thank you for listening. Thank you so much for checking out the J Porks Experience. Now, here is part 2 of the Year in Rock 2013. Once again, here's Jay.
'Twas a long summer, but then, getting back to the J Porks year in review here, year in concert review, we made it to the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival in Homedale, New Jersey, and I will just read from there, starting now. It's been way too long, folks, way too long, but your favorite self-absorbed snob of an author is back to bring you the trials and tribulations of yet another J Porks concert experience. Life kicks your ass sometimes, and at times it can keep you away from awesome shows for a 4-month span. But today, that all ends as the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival hits PNC Bank Arts Center, one of my favorite venues in the world, with Alice in Chains, Jane's Addiction, Coheed and Cambria slotting 1, 2, and 3 in our headlining spots. Other acts high on the list to check out: Duff McKagan's Walking Papers and Middle Class Rut. Middle Class Rut's a band that opened for the Meat Puppets at the Track 16 Gallery closing in Santa Monica not so long ago, where our buddy Reverend Justito got to catch them a couple of blocks from his house. With tailgating permitted for today's festivities, we headed out to Homedale in Dirty Jers. Interesting sidebar, The Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival's website has set times listed, and the set times included different stages. One might find this puzzling because PNC Bank Arts Center only has one stage, and is not built in a way where other stages could be added. Wonder what their move is here. Are we going to be walking through the parking lot and find a cheap makeshift stage built outside the venue or something? Well, it didn't matter because in the typical style that is me, we didn't roll into the parking lot until at least after 4 o'clock. A parking lot that I thought would be a lot more packed out with cars than it was. We cracked the brews, along with the whiskey and the cantaloupe, and began the party that would be the rest of the day/evening. Note to the guy selling the bootleg t-shirts in the parking lot before the show. I really got you down from $20 to $5 before the show? What kind of businessman are you? Maybe I should grab one after the show from you for $1.50 or something, idiot. The plan was to get inside for Coheed and Cambria and take it from there. We turned this quote-unquote festival into a regular night at PNC with Coheed, Jane's Addiction, and Alice in Chains. I was with friends and got a ride and stuff, so I didn't have to do my usual show up 5 hours early to a show thing. As we were walking in, Coheed was in the midst of their set, so I had to quickly dart to the seats, because I bought one additional ticket down in the seated area for video picture purposes. Why take chances on the lawn? And I recorded a song or two of theirs. This writer and Claudio, this writer being me, and Claudio from Coheed have two things in common. One being overly fluffed out hair, and the other being around bitchin' music, and bitchin' music is what Coheed and Cambria are all about. This is my first time seeing them live. Coming in, I honestly couldn't name one of their songs. Gravity's Union was the one I got to record most of and see up close. Taking it all in, with the wicked licks the drummer is shelling out and the shredding going on in front of him, it's safe to say that this is a band I'm going to have to see again. Even if I was in a seat the entire time, a 9-song set at a festival that's not even really a festival when the sun is still up is a tough way to judge a band you've never seen. But I dig those guys for sure. While I head back to the lawn, we're grooving to Coheed and taking pictures because the guy writing this just lost 92 pounds over the last 14 months. That's up to 116, by the way, that I lost, but who cares about me? We see a sea of empty seats, and I start game planning how we're sneaking down. Not enough time to do it for Jane's Addiction because the lights have dimmed for them already. And here they come out around circa 8:20, kicking things off with a thundering underground. I don't know what it is, but the darker it gets, this place, the sound seems to get better, like as it gets darker. During our drunken parking lot adventures, I kept saying, it's all fun and games until we're coming down the mountain. Love that freaking song. And guess what song came second? You got it, Mountain Song. And during this, I look over and enjoy the fatal riffs of one Dave Navarro. I follow him on Twitter, and I know he's on some tattoo show, and he hosts a radio show and some other stuff. Sideline reporting at the Adult Video Awards and all that. I almost forgot how awesome this guy was at his day job. Just Because followed. And later, the crowd-pleasing Bin Court Stealing made an appearance before Ocean Size and Stop in typical Jane's Addiction fashion. There were half-naked models dancing along the stage at some point. Also, to keep things lighthearted and cheery, Perry says at one point, and I put in parentheses, anyone correct me if I'm wrong, my mom is buried in New Jersey. Interesting factoid, I guess. Set closer, of course, Jane says, which is being played in steady rotation at the restaurant I work at because I control the tunes nowadays. Jane's never disappoints. Second time I've seen them all the way from the lawn, and the second time I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Sometimes people like me get lost in the, quote, trying to remember stuff to write down aspect of a concert. It's good to find a happy medium between those two. Before Alice in Chains, we need to get down to those seats while folks are fitting bathroom breaks. So we spot some stairs that let you exit the seated section, but you can't enter. You're allowed to come out, but you can't come in. There's two sides. These assholes are standing on the same side just shooting the breeze. These assholes meaning the event staff. I turned around to check if Pam was still with me, but she wasn't. Text came in that she's down there already. I didn't even tell her which way we were going. Now I'm with Nay and Mego, who actually, sidebar on Renee and Megan for a second, congratulations on their marriage that I attended on Saturday. That was awesome. It was an engagement party, and we showed up, and they surprised us and got married there. It was freaking awesome. I was down in Super Tuscan all night at the Staten Island Winery. Awesome. But anyway, so they weren't married when we were at this show, but they were getting married. So Pam's in. Now I only need to sneak Nay and Mego in. So I pull out my ticket to show it to the event staff, and I start like I ask if they can let me through this entrance, and 15 feet to my right, I'm waving. I asked them if I can. I'm like, can I go through this entrance? Because I'm showing them my ticket. I'm trying to get them to look at my ticket, and as I see their heads go down, I'm waving my arm for Nay and Mego to run down, and they do run down. So they snuck down, and aforementioned, I have this ticket to the seats, so they let me down too. So win. All four of us are down in the $50 section for 20. That's how I roll. The hollow they opened up with hit me with so much more power than I expected tonight. As soon as I started banging the opening chords, it was clear we were in for a memorable set. Them Bones followed by Damn That River and Again. I thought I was recording again, but I looked at the screen and saw no numbers moving on the ticker. Fail. Damn, this is no longer a festival that isn't really a festival. Now this is turning into Alice in Chains demolishing the PNC Bank Arts Center and making everyone in the building forget about every other band that played here today. If you haven't gotten it, I love Alice in Chains. Check My Brain followed, and by this time we're packed down here in the seats, as compared to the absence of people down there earlier in the day. This feels like a packed house and not a show they've been trying to give tickets away for 3 weeks. Tears to Fill My Bong. How cool is that lyric? Man in the Box up next. I look over at the rhythm section and recall that one time I scalped fake tickets to an Alice in Chains show and couldn't get in. And Mike Inez and Sean Kinney were nice enough to sign my fake ticket after the show and express remorse for my predicament. These are not only guys that rock, but nice guys that rock. Everyone's screaming the lyrics to Man in the Box. What a scene. Tonight we got ourselves a Got Me Wrong. I saw a video of them playing it on this tour, and I just hoped we'd get the same treatment. Unbelievable. This set is amazing. It's as if I made my own Alice in Chains mixtape or something. Well, almost. We haven't heard Junkhead, and that's probably one of my favorite songs of theirs for several reasons. Next up, Junkhead. Seriously? Get the hell out of my head, Mr. Cantrell. Stop reading my thoughts. You may or may not hear me screaming the "Well, what have you got?" lyric on the video. Mike Inez's bass work on this song is so crude and punishing. Jerry's making this six string his absolute bitch over there. I don't even think he used the same guitar twice that night. Stone followed to give us a taste of at least one other newer track before we broke into Grind, followed by Nutshell being one of Pam's favorites, and mine too. Everyone stood up for that one. Wood with a harrowing rooster. And a harrowing rooster would end the evening's festivities. Great times at PNC Bank Arts Center for the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival. Let's do this again sometime. And I left one note before I stopped. I wrote, "Hey Jerry, why do you have to go and cut your hair for? The Brotherhood of Long-Haired Folks, Long-Locked Folks shrinks by the day. Sad to see you leave. You're welcome back. You're welcome back. You are welcome back anytime." So there was that. August. Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival. August 17th, 2013 at the PNC Bank Arts Center. And then the next couple of shows are going to be familiar to you because we talked about them on the podcast. I'm looking at the Violent Femmes pic, and I think that's a great picture I have up there. I was admiring my own work. So, September 12th, we went out to Central Park, and I went there to see the Violent Femmes. And it said rain or shine on the show. And then at 4:01, they tweeted, due to impending, Live Nation New York City tweeted, due to impending weather, the set times for Violent Femmes have changed. They've been moved up. Doors at 5, the Bogmen at 6, Femmes at 7:15. And the Bogmen were the weirdest fucking band in the world. And the Violent Femmes came out. Out on stage come the boys to play their debut album for us, and they kicked the night off with Hallowed Ground. Cool. So we're not only getting So we're not only getting the album tonight, we'll sprinkle in some hits. All I Want came next, and it's a wave back and forth type of mood right now. Nightmare followed, and afterward, bassist Brian Ritchie addressed the crowd. We're about to take you on a trip through time, space, and psychology. Then Blister in the Sun, and as Blister in the Sun was happening, it became a Blister in the Rain. I used that line already. But in the video, if you look at the video of Blister in the Sun, you can see the rain start pouring down. And the show eventually Live Nation at 8:18 p.m. tweeted out, Live Nation New York City tweeted out, tonight's Violent Femme show has been postponed due to the stupid lightning. Hang on to your tickets and stay tuned for more info and a new date. The new date came. It was in November, and it was at I think it was in November. You know what? I don't know when it was. It doesn't matter when it was because it was at Roseland Ballroom, and I hate Roseland Ballroom. So I took my refund, and I went home. I mean, I took my refund, and I didn't go. I didn't go to the makeup show. Yeah, no big deal. Then what goes on here? As I scroll through my Nook tablet, getting to the top of the review, dude, I take good pictures now. Like I'm looking at these pictures. It's awesome. October 5th, we had Evan Dando, Soul Asylum, and Fountains of Wayne at Webster Hall, another venue I fucking hate. They threw me out of VIP. They threw me out of the VIP section. I was upstairs. Evan Dando was playing. I went downstairs to buy a t-shirt, buy a cool neon green Fountains of Wayne t-shirt. I went back up and they wouldn't let me up there. I mean the nerve. So I went to the makeshift photo pit they had, and I actually got to make out with this girl, Deb, and that was really cool. But besides that, it was a great show. Great times. I mean, Soul Asylum got into Misery, Somebody to Shove. Songs besides Runaway Train is what I'm getting to here. Black Gold, Leave This Town, those songs were intense. And after the set, it was funny. After the set, I grabbed the set list and I took a picture of it. And then some guy on the other side of the railing said, do I really want? Is there another one up there? So I knew he wanted it, so I gave it to him. And I said, you want me to give you Fountains of Wayne set list too if I grab that? And he's like, nah, man, I'm leaving for another show. He was on his way to see Local H. Local H was playing Santos Party House, and that's where Slugger A from Maryland. Now I don't know what state she's in because I thought she lived in D.C., but she doesn't. I think she lives in Maryland. Anyway, Delaware. Delaware is the state. Yeah, there you go. Anyway, she was up in New York with her friends seeing Local H because they didn't have a Delaware date. So we hung out. We hung out for a little while, and I showed them where the train was, and they were at that show. And that guy who left Fountains of Wayne before Fountains of Wayne came on went to that show, which was pretty cool. I told him tell Scott I say hi. So you ever seen the Sonic Youth music video for Dirty Boots? That's how it went down when I made out with this girl. It was like we were far away. I looked at her and I'm like, maybe she'll give me a shot, and I did. I'm gonna take her out to dinner or something one of these days. Fountains of Wayne hit the stage at 9:15, just as a random piece of paper tapped on the wall indicated earlier. Taped on the wall, tapped. Jeez. I've Got a Flare, Dip in the Ocean, and Joe Ray. These dudes have power. They're like Weezer if Weezer took LSD. Feedback flying everywhere, jammy portions at times, then dancey sections at times. This whole bill is like the real Summerland. I turned to my new buddy and mentioned how miserable they look. She agrees. I mean, we just had Soul Asylum up there entertaining the shit out of themselves with songs about sad things. Fountains of Wayne are up there singing humorous songs, and Chris Collingwood has this dead stare on. But this is my first time seeing the band, so I don't know how it is. And I actually asked Pam. I mentioned that to Pam, and Pam said I saw them a few years ago, and I thought the same thing, which was kind of weird. So Chris Collingwood just doesn't like to smile. It's okay. The only thing that was wrong was the Webster Hall has shitty vocals in the front, and I went over this already. It's not my job. It's not my job to find a spot with better sound. It's the venue's job to provide better sound. Great fucking times. Mexican wine, Red Dragon tattoo, Summer Place, Hey Julie, It Must Be Summer, I-95, Someone to Love. I like that song. It'd be a great place to squeeze in Traffic and Weather, but they didn't. Sad Face Emoticon. I love Traffic and Weather. That's like one of my favorite. That's like my favorite Fountains of Wayne song. It's one of my favorite songs in life right now, and it has been for a while. And I really wish they would have played that, but they didn't. It's cool. It's cool. I'll buy the single off iTunes. No Better Place, Sink to the Bottom. And then they came out and they played Radiation Vibe and Stacy's Mom. But don't get it twisted. I'm a Radiation Vibe Fountains of Wayne fan. And Stacy's Mom, when Stacy's Mom came out, to me that was just I was glad to see the band get another hit, but I thought Radiation Vibe was good enough to have me as a fan of the band, and I loved Sink to the Bottom off that same record. So there's that, and then there's Maud. There's not Maud. And then after that, we had the Meat Puppets again. The band I work for, my favorite freaking band in the world. I got to see them again, this time at the Brooklyn Bowl. It's freaking epic. When I was outside and Chris recognized me, it was cool. It was awesome. We talked about his art and shit. And somebody came up. So one of Chris's friends comes up to us before Enemy Planes came on. He comes up to Chris he comes up to Chris outside. And he introduces me, and he's like, this is my buddy from old school. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, this is the guy who does that Facebook and stuff. And he's like, wow, Chris, I was just going to tell you. I've been meaning to tell you for a while. The guy who does your Facebook does an outstanding job with it. And you know what? That's all I needed to hear to cream my pants. Please keep telling the people I work for that I'm doing a good job. I would love it. Meat Puppets came on pushing it close to 10. But there is another show. There's another show going on at Brooklyn Bowl at 11:30. So at about 10 to 10, it was time to party. Kirkwood, and Sam, the Meat Puppets. I remember in April I mixed up the names of the songs. I'm a Mindless Idiot and Seal Whales because they're both extended instrumental jams. But there was no confusion tonight as this Mindless Idiot was rolling film. The thing about this tour is the lack of video appearing on YouTube from it. I made a conscious decision to change that tonight. Monkey and the Snake and Touchdown King brought the fierceness before jumping into a plateau coming down back to backer. That plateau was nothing short of fucking majestic, and coming down seemed, if it could be, a little extra twangy tonight. Went for the shortened version of Up on the Sun. It was only 10 minutes long. Only 10. Kurt pulled out the slide early and often tonight, and these pictures are amazing. You need to go to Concert Confessions to check out these pictures. I got a picture up close of Kurt with his slide on the guitar. It's freaking epic. The first Rat Farm tracks tonight, Sometimes Blue and Waiting, rocked the bowling alley into nothing but a sea of bobbing heads. Waiting is so birdsy. Then you sing the lyrics along to yourself and realize how far a songwriter, the man to the far left of Avalon, has come. How far a songwriter has come. Kurt Kirkwood has evolved over the course of the last 30 years. Then it was time for Sam. A song I recall Mark Maron asking Kurt about on his What the Fuck pod last week. How is Shannon not busting open his drum kit back there? He's killing it as usual. Sam was speedy as ever, serving as a great prelude to the loss that would follow. Time for some oh me action. I knew it was coming after Lost. I didn't need to see Kurt mouth it to the band to have a feel for their set already. Speaking of feels of the set, I set myself up right in front of the stage to the far right, anticipating Kurt to be there, but him and Chris switched sides. They're usually on opposite sides. The other 12 times I've seen them anyway. I'm standing right in front of Chris, who is a master of jumping around on stage, hitting the bass like a beast, and Elmo is sandwiched between father and uncle, front and center, destroying it. Broke a string or two by night's end. The kid shreds harder and better every time I see these dudes, especially on Seal Whales, which came right after. Time and Money, another solid Rat Farm track, appeared in the set list before we dove right into a groovy backwater. As it seems we're creeping to the end of the evening. During Sloop John B, during Sloop John B, I wrote down Lake of Fire because they always follow Sloop John B with Lake of Fire. 13th time seeing these guys and they're still throwing me curveballs. Open Wide came next. A very surprised reaction, not unlike the one I felt at April in the Mercury Lounge. I let off a loud "oh shit" as I focused in with my new toy on the video. My iPhone 5C. Awesome amphibious times. Now the opening chords of Kathy's Clown begin, as the band is being told that's it. Elmo, who doesn't look to be thrilled by having to compromise the Everly Brothers classic, makes sure to extend a jam in the middle of it, making sure the thing clocked in at over 7 minutes. There was some serious headiness there. Kurt and Elmo just bounced riffs off one another for what seemed like forever. You'd have to keep reminding yourself, holy shit, this is still Kathy's Clown. Then, assuming we're just here to piss off people who make the rules, Shannon slams on the skins not once, not twice, but 4 knocks right into Lake of Fire. The phrase crowd goes wild couldn't be more appropriate here. And all puns that involve lakes of fire and the song Burn Down the House and all that stuff, because of the fire, cannot be brushed aside as merely cliche. Because it was fact. That's what was going down. Oh, and look at that. And the last line in this review says, the Meat Puppets bowl of 300 at Brooklyn Bowl. That set was just perfect. Look at that. They bowl of 300. When I was a kid, my mom used to be in a bowling league, so I know much about bowling. Their set list in Brooklyn was I'm a Mindless Idiot, Monkey and the Snake, Touchdown King, Plateau, Coming Down, Up on the Sun, Sometimes Blue, Waiting, Sam, Lost, Oh Me, Time and Money, Seal Whales, Backwater, Sloop John B, Open Wide, Kathy's Clown, Lake of Fire. What was that, 18, 19 songs? And I've got a link to the podcast at the bottom of this. So those were the shows in 2013. I can't believe that I only saw that little. But don't worry, folks. There's gonna be more. There's gonna be more coming to you. Because I'm not a happy guy unless I'm hitting shows. And I'm finally starting to network with people. I'm finally starting to meet people, slowly but surely, meeting more people who want to go to more shows, who are down with the podcast, who are down with the writing, who are down with the sickness. So what I need you to do on my birthday here today is go to concertconfessions.com, and I need you to read all those reviews that I just told you about. Read about all those shows. I need you to leave comments. I need you to share them with your friends. I need you to do all that. And I need you to go on Amazon. You need to click the Amazon ads at concertconfessions.com. And you got to help me help you. Because you're buying stuff anyway. It's the holiday season. It's my birthday. And that's it. You want to do that. You want to get down with that. You want to go to andyquiet.com. That's your source for quality. Check out their top album lists, the staff picks. They'll probably have those up. Check those out. Critique them. Critique everybody. That's what being American's about. Critiquing people. But that, I mean, you go to Andyquiet. You go to andyquiet.com for that. And then you're gonna you're gonna stick with the AndyDeerShow.com because he's stuck it out with me for 3 months. He's got a guy on his podcast network who is just hitting record and bitching for unknown amounts of time, and he's okay with that. God bless the man. God bless the man. Because a lot of people can't put up with my bullshit this long. And he's done it for 3 months. And he's going to do it for a long time after. It's going to continue to come. Because, especially with the 2 weeks off, I'm just going to accumulate things to complain about. Because every time some new band plays an instrument, I die a little inside. ChristinaRocks.com. She had me on her show earlier this year on terrestrial radio, 89X. She's in Detroit. You check her out, ChristinaRocks.com. She hosts the Time Warp. At Hang the DJ, at her website, you can find the playlist for the Time Warp, and you could also definitely find a link where you can stream it live every Sunday. Because who doesn't like old school alternative shit, you know? Who wouldn't want to listen to that? I'm bet you she's fitting some more Me Puppets in there by the week. And she believed in me. And so did Andy. And so did my Concert Confessions people. So did Pam. So did a bunch of people. And all of you, the few of you who thought that I would do good at this, who gave me the confidence that I would be able to hit record every week, thank you. Because I've always, my whole life, I've always wanted to do this. When I was a kid, I wanted to be on the radio. I always wanted to just have a forum where I can speak, a forum where I can get things off my chest, and I don't have to worry about spelling things wrong. Because when I write blogs and rants and stuff, I always cry about stuff, and then I got your instead of your, I got there instead of there, and it makes me look stupid when I'm trying to look angry. So I'd like to thank all the folks who have made it possible, all the folks who keep listening. And I need you to spread the word. I need you to tell your friends. Tell your friends listen to the J Porks Experience. And you need to get involved. You hit me up at JPorks on Twitter, and I will answer any question you have. A couple of nights ago, I was answering questions. I came home from the wedding, and I was toasted. I was down in Super Tuscan all night. This red wine, that was amazing. So I was freaking. I'm not a good drinker. Like I'm used to smoking weed, so I'll drink like 3 glasses of wine in a row, and wonder why I'm falling down. I mean, it's just it's a different thing, and I need to pace myself. But I'm terrible at drinking, so I got really wasted, really, really, really wasted. And I went on Twitter and I said, "Hey guys, ask me your questions." And people were asking me questions, and you can continue to do that. I have nothing to hide. As you can tell by listening to these things, I have nothing to hide. I have no shame. Any future employers listening to these things, they probably won't hire me. It's okay. It's the risks you take being cool. And again, I'm just really happy to be doing this, and not only because it's my birthday, but I can't wait to dive into 2014 with you. I can't wait. You need to be on that side with me. What I need you to do is I need you guys to start getting connected. Now, the first 3 months was fun. It was cool to test run this. It was cool to kind of, text me, oh, maybe you should talk about this, write on my status. Maybe you should talk about this. But now I really need all of you folks to get involved. I need everybody to help me out, get me some segments, forward me some music, everything. Everything and anything. And last and most certainly not least, I need you to go to themeatpuppets.com. And that's where you're going to get all your Meat Puppets tour dates, which there are none right now. That's where you're going to get all your Meat Puppets merch. That's where you're going to find Chris Kirkwood's art site, chriskirkwoodart.com. You'll buy prints for that too. All that stuff for the holiday season. You'll do all that. I mean, hey, that's it. Listen, before I let you go, You ready to sing with me? If you thought I wasn't singing, then you got another thing coming. I'm singing happy birthday to myself. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, Jay Porkster. Happy birthday to me. Whiskey, weed, Warren Zevon, folks. Happy New Year. Talk to you on the other side. Late.
This has been the J Porks Experience. Thank you so much for listening.